Hello. First thing I want you to do is go into my outbox under Geometry CP, and I'd like you to open the file called Circle Notes. It's a Word document. Once you open it, it should look like this. I want you to ignore this picture right away, and then I would like you to use these pages in our textbook or the back of the book, and I'd like you to fill in the following definitions. Once you're done filling in those definitions, we're actually going to create all those definitions in a Sketchpad. And I'm going to use this video to help you start it at least without me. There's really only two of those definitions that are somewhat hard to create. Other than that, you should be able to create everything on your own. So after you fill in all these definitions, I'd like you to also go in my outbox and open the file called New Sketch. And when we open a new sketch, the Sketchpad file, and I just want to move it over here so that you can see the toolbar as well. So after we do all those definitions, pause this video or come back to this video, and then now open the sketch and start. The first thing we're going to do is start with the circle tool, and we're going to create a circle. Go back to my arrow after I create it. I'm going to take the text tool, which is the A tool. I'm going to double click and I'm going to name this circle. Since my circle's in green, I'm going to highlight this, and down at the bottom I'm going to choose green so that I color coordinate my stuff. Double click, change the color to green, and now my circle matches both. Okay. The hardest thing to create probably on Sketchpad is a diameter, and this is why. A diameter has to be a chord, but in order to get the chord to go through the center, we need to start with the line tool. So we're going to go over to the left, we're going to put it on line. We're going to do from the center to anywhere on the side of the circle. It does not matter where. So I'm going to start here. Now, a diameter is not a line. It's a segment. It's actually the largest chord of the circle, and if you realize the chord is a segment. So we're going to change this to a segment tool, and we're just going to put a segment from where they intersect on the edge of the circle to the other intersection. So again, I'm starting my segment here, and I'm going over to the other edge of the circle, and then I'm releasing. When I come back up to my arrow, I want to click off so nothing's highlighted. I want to highlight the dotted line and Control H. That now gives me a diameter. If I take the edge of this, I should be able to go all around the circle, and every one of these is a diameter. There's infinite number of diameters along this circle. So I'm going to take my tool, I'm going to type diameter. You type by just double clicking. Since it came up a blue line, I'm going to change it to blue. Okay, and I'm going to label it. The next thing I'm going to create is a radius, and if you followed the definition of a radius, or you should probably already know what the definition of a radius is, I just need to be on segment, and a radius comes from the center to anywhere on the side of the circle. So again, there is infinite radiuses along this circle. Okay, and then I'm going to change the color of this line by right-clicking, color, not green, color, I'm going to make it yellow. I'm going to take my font tool, I'm going to write radius, and I'm going to change it to yellow. Alright. The other thing, which is a little hard to create on your own, but not really, is if you looked up what a tangent line is. A tangent line, so first of all, it's a line. And before we do the line, you actually have to do it like this. A tangent line is a line that connects at the radius, the end of a radius or the end of a diameter, because a diameter is really a radius, at the end of a radius, but it's perpendicular to it. So we need to highlight the radius, make sure nothing's highlighted, highlight the radius and its endpoint, and then go up to construct perpendicular line. And now we have a line that when you move this around the circle will stay outside the circle. It only connects the circle in one spot. And if we go to that pen tool and we draw here, you'll realize that's a 90 degrees. I'm going to change the color of this. I'm going to make it pink. And I'm going to write tangent line. Obviously it's a line. We left it a line. We made it a line. Okay. Tangent line. And the other thing we had for a definition was point of tangency. I forget if tangency, no E on it, tangency. Okay, so the point of tangency is the little point at where the tangent line meets the radius. So hopefully you can remember that. That reminds me, we didn't label, I'm going to change this center dot to black, and I'm going to name it center, because that's the center of the circle. So certain things I hope you could figure out from possibly a multiple choice list without really knowing, but that's the center. We have our diameter, which is a chord, that's the largest chord, and it goes through the circle. A radius, which is half of a diameter, so it goes from the center to the edge. We only have two more things, and these two things are the hardest things that people confuse. First thing I'm going to do is take a segment tool, and I'm going to just put a segment anywhere on the line. And the thing about this, it has to be a segment. So I'm going to change its color, make it red, and the segment is what we call a chord. And that's our chord. And the last thing we have to do is a secant. And the only difference between a chord and a secant is that a secant is a line. So go to your line tool and draw from one edge to the other and leave it as a line. And the only difference is a chord is a segment, a secant is a line. I'm going to change its color. And I'm going to write secant, secant spelled S-E-C-A-N-T, leave it as orange. And I think that labels everything on our circle. The last thing we're going to do, and that went fast, so if you have to pause the video and go back and see how I did anything, go ahead. The other thing you're going to do is highlight this all. So I highlight everything by putting a box around it, Control-C, open up your Word document. Click on the blue thing, Control V, and actually I don't know why it's not really pasting in the box, so you can just delete the box, and then you should have your definitions and a drawing to go with this. Once you feel comfortable with your page, print it to follow me. All right.